Alright, it looks like we're on. We are trying a little bit of a different format today. I have acquired a couple more cameras and I'm going to actually be doing an assembly video. This is a product that I have developed for Datsun vehicles with corner markers. They're originally these giant hunks of rubber with a ridiculously proud lens, and when you do a resto mod and you're trying to keep the legality of your car, you actually have to have these side markers. So this is a way for you to update the look and the styling of your vehicle without compromising on safety, and also without any permanent modifications to your car. So without further ado, we are going to be assembling. Watch this. I'm going to switch over here to my new camera angles and give it a second to adjust. We are using a cell phone with a video streaming service, so it takes it a second, but then it figures it out. So what we've got here are these are known as 194 bulb sockets, and what that is a flat style turn signal modern LED bulb, and that these are widely available. You can get them at any auto parts store, Walmart even, and the point of that is that it's easily replaceable. So that just slips down into our socket like so, and that socket twists in to this. Hopefully, I just had these 3D printed in nylon through JLC PCB. Oh yeah, there we go, check that out. So that's a pretty good fit. Yeah, so that'll make a watertight-ish seal. Not that it needs to be crazy watertight on, well, I guess this side does. On the front fenders, this is exposed directly to the back of the tire, so you do want this to be watertight, which is what this groove is for. All along, let's see if we can get that. All along the outside of this part is a groove that I'll be 3D printing a TPU gasket for. It'll snap in place. It'd be really nice. But you can see the functionality of that cross pattern as it interfaces with these sockets that we're using. So that is not what we're working on tonight. What we want to do, and we only got about an hour before it is bedtime for me, is we need to take some of this film, which is 3M retroreflective diffuser film, and we need to apply it to one of our lenses. So I had these 3D printed at JLC PCB in nylon because that is not a capability I have at the moment. And these were laser cut at Ponoko. I would normally have gotten them from Sandcut Sand, but Sandcut Sand does not have orange acrylic, and the yellow that they have is way too bright and ugly. So on its own, the lens here is way too transparent, and you can see right into the headlight or the turn signal bucket. You can see the light bulb itself. It's pretty ugly. So what I am doing is adding this diffuser film, which it reduces the hot spot on the lens by itself, but it also obscures the light in a way where you're not staring through looking at an ugly LED bulb on the side of your nice show car. So this is a bit challenging. I haven't come up with a really good system for this. I don't want to do this every time I make these parts. I would like for them to arrive sort of ready to go. That's my favorite method of selling parts, is when I don't have to do the work, because I want to make things that are available to people, not things that folks are having to wait on me to assemble, especially because I don't generally have the most amount of time. So something that actually happened with this particular set of lenses is that I received the order for them, but it was such an underwhelming response to what I thought was an amazing product that it kind of slipped my mind, and that was in early or late February, I think I got the order, and the guy reached out to me and said, hey, I placed an order for these parts, what's the status? And I had to be honest with him. I told him I totally spaced, so I ended up having to order parts last week, and here we are assembling it. And my hope is that he was very understanding, and my hope is that he will be very pleased with them, that it'll be worth the wait for him, and that it'll kind of rejuvenate some interest in the product, and I could potentially use his set to film a little promo video on my Datsun on what they are, what the purpose of them is, how to use them and stuff like that, how to install them, and through that maybe revitalize some of the interest. I had a lot of interest, hundreds of people interested in these parts, and then I offered them for sale and everybody evaporated. So that's the way it goes sometimes, except when I designed a bracket to convert 2JZ intake manifolds, I knew that was gonna hit, and I sold, I want to say 40 or 50 of them the first year that I had them available, and every time I make them available, people buy them. They are one of my more simple products, something that I need to invest a lot of inventory in for the economy of scale to make sense. One part costs me $70, but 10 parts, they come down to about $35 each, and I only sell them for $60, so I'm not trying to gouge anybody. I'm just trying to offer something that I think is pretty cool. A lot of folks made fun of the bracket that I designed for that purpose, but it's also allowed a lot of folks to get their cars on the road. So that's what we are. We're the Budget Build Club. We are not ballers by any means. So the goal is to get your vehicle on the road, as budget friendly as possible. So Alec, if that's you watching my stream, I know I should be in bed, but so should you, so don't judge me. The one thing that I haven't figured out with these lenses is how to glue the lens into the frame without making an ugly spot on this diffuser film. So on my car that actually went to SEMA in Vegas, there were some really ugly glue lines behind these lenses, because this is still translucent. So one of the things I'm going to experiment with on this set, all right, before we do that though, I want to test fit one. So these should just, oh yeah, I could never have hoped to manufacture that on my own. I CNC cut them with my router and they just didn't fit at all. So let's give this a shot. What I'll end up doing is I've gotten away from countersunk bolts, and what I'm using instead are these little threaded studs. So put this right into there, and we'll lock them in with some Loctite. And then the lens bucket comes in. Ooh, gonna have to drill that out. But that would have snapped in from the front and made for a very nice mounting method. So what are we gonna do? We need to cut some pieces of vinyl to cover up these edges, so when we glue, you can't see the glue. So I brought a little roll of vinyl. Oh yeah, there it is. We're just gonna cut a little section of this. Use it to cover up just the very edge of these lights here. So if we take a look at how much space we actually need there, we can measure that with our calipers here. That appears to be 0.66 inches. Okay, so if we come over here, we measure out 0.66 inches. make a straight cut. No, that didn't work. Wow, I don't know how to make a straight cut apparently. Work. We want an identical piece. See if we can get that overhead to focus up a little bit. Yeah, that overhead camera is pretty bum quality, unfortunately. We might have to try something different in the future. So, let's do this. So we're gonna work off of our little close-up cam here. So we want to just add this vinyl right to the edge, and we'll trim the excess, but we want to get rid of the overlap from yeah, that's what we're looking for. So essentially we're trying to mitigate the except for that's going to cover a lot of light, so maybe that's too much. Oh yeah, that's about perfect. So what we're doing, we're trying to hide where the screw goes with the vinyl, and I'll show you what that looks like at the end once we're done. Let's try this a different way on this one. So we have a pretty good idea of what our overlap needs to be. I will be honest, this is not going as smoothly as I wanted it to. Yeah, that could work. So we're gonna try some of this glue, which should stay rubberized a little bit. But who knows? So we'll find out here in a sec. Based on what it smells like, I can tell you if it's gonna work. Oh yeah, this is some kind of model adhesive, so it should work pretty well. I did not have a plan for where to put this once I opened it. There we go. And we're just gonna use a little bit of that. Where the heck is this thing in focus? I'm gonna spread this onto the edges here. We only need a little bit too. That's what they always say about glue, right? You don't need as much as you think you're gonna use. So if you're tuning in and this is not for you, you want to see more CAD work, tomorrow is going to be CAD-tascular. No, don't say that. It's going to be a lot of CAD work. We're going to be designing the project that I alluded to for my son's career day at his elementary school. All the parts came in today, so we should be proceeding with that. So there's that. That's it for now. No, we are going to add some thread locker. But I have 3 different versions here. Thread locker, high strength. We'll try that. And we'll just dip. Ooh, it's not coming out. Oh. Would you look at that? Yeah. That's what you get. So take the insert, run it through some of this, and drop it right in one of these threaded holes. Should be it, except our lens kind of still popped off, so let's do it's not designed very well, if I'm being honest. I need to reevaluate how these lenses are going to attach. Got to get this order out because it's paid for, but then in the future I'm going to be looking at different ways to get these parts to work together, because this is a sick product. It fills a niche that I think needs to be filled. I know a lot of people would appreciate a drop-in replacement for their turn signal or their side markers. It just needs to be less of a pain in the butt for me to make. Because I am not going to sit here and make this every time if it's going to take this much effort. Wonder how long Loctite takes to dry. Did anybody look that up? Okay. So I would really rather not peel the protective film off of this, but I think it's necessary to prove that our method of covering the sides of the lens is going to work. Yeah, I'm not digging that. Oh gosh, what am I gonna do? See, you can just really see the that white section there. I don't know what to do. It's not very cash money, right? So this is what it's supposed to do. Boom. And when the light's on, it doesn't look half bad, but when the light is on the front and you can see the assembly process, it's not like the most gorgeous. So I don't know, I'm not loving it. It really does look so much better than the one that is on my car, though, because you can't see the glue. Well, you couldn't see the glue till I just squished it. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. I'm not feeling it. This isn't working out. So this was the idea. You know, that's the concept. Would have been pretty cool. But on the reds, it does work a lot better on the dark reds, so I'm just confused. But oh, we gave it a shot. So that's all I have for tonight. We attempted to assemble one of my products. It didn't go quite as planned. I'm a bit disappointed, but I will find a solution. We'll keep moving forward. We're going to be streaming tomorrow a lot of CAD work with our spoiler project. Hopefully I can set up a meeting with those guys, and if not, we're going to be working on the project for my son in his school, and we'll keep cruising, we'll keep doing everything that we can to make progress on all the things that we got going. So I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Sorry for the short stream, 30 minutes, but that's all I had in me. So have a good night.